Here's the surprising days of our lives friendship we didn't know we needed. Cherry Jimenez and Julie Dove found an immediate friendship when Gabby and Connie became scene partners. With killer Connie's story seemingly at a close with her arrest on Days of Our Lives, Julie Dove's run as the unhinged, but hilarious, character could also come to an end. Connie's terrorized several people because of her deranged mindset, including Melinda, Rafe, and Gabby, among others. Surprisingly, Dove connected with one of the actors and a heartwarming real-life friendship was born. A friendship was born. Dove, a lifelong fan of Daywes, was thrilled to get the part of Connie, and no one expected that her one-off online date with Lee Shin, Remington Hoffman, would eventually turn into something more for her character, capturing Melinda, Tina Huang, and then Gabby, Cherry Jimenez. She set off a bomb to get rid of them once and for all. However, this being Salem, the women survived and Connie ultimately was arrested for her various crimes and murders. Find out about Lai and Connie's ill-fated date. As bad of a bad girl as she is, she's a sweetheart in real life, and Jimenez told Soap Opera Digest, "We had a lot of fun on set with our characters and our dynamic, and it developed into a friendship." When Jimenez first took over the role of Gabby, Connie resurfaced and the chaos ensued. The two enjoyed getting to know each other in real life and formed a wonderful friendship. Jimenez stated that she likes to get to know her scene partner, and in this case, Julie and I have worked together so much that we've gotten to know everything about each other. Our life journeys, our acting journeys, our family, our pets. They've gotten so close that she and I just connected. She'll reach out to check up on me, and I'll do the same with her. She also loved that Dove had finally gotten to meet her idols on the show and could watch it with her mother. Dove did a great job playing the twisted Connie, who believed Lai was still present and speaking to her. Her twisted justifications were enjoyable, and she really believed everything she said. We're hoping Dove returns to act again with her newfound friend and gives us the willies again. In the sprawling town of Salem, where deceit and devotion twist together like the strands of a spider's web, unexpected bonds are as common as a cup of coffee at Brady's pub. Yet, even in this land of unlikely alliances and long-lost relatives, one friendship has emerged that nobody could have predicted or even realized they needed. It's a bond between two characters who, on the surface, could not be more different: Kate Roberts and Xander Cook. At first glance, Kate and Xander seem to belong to two entirely different worlds. Kate, with her sharp business instincts and steely resolve, is a matriarchal force who has spent decades maneuvering through the upper echelons of Salem society. Xander, a charming yet often brash and impulsive scoundrel, is more at home in the darker corners of Salem, where deals are made under the table and rules are just suggestions. But as is often the case in Days of Our Lives, first glances can be deceiving. Beneath their contrasting exteriors lies a shared history of survival, ambition, and redemption. Their lives, filled with as many betrayals and second chances as anyone in Salem's storied history, have finally aligned in a way that allows them to see the true kindred spirits they've always been. It all began one stormy evening at the Kyriakis mansion. Xander, nursing yet another wounded ego after a botched scheme, sat brooding in the living room, a tumbler of whiskey in hand. He hadn't expected company, especially not from Kate, who had strolled in unannounced, her heels clicking against the marble floors like the sound of a ticking clock. "Mind if I join you?" she asked, not waiting for permission as she poured herself a drink and settled into the armchair opposite him. Xander raised an eyebrow, half amused, half suspicious. "Didn't know we were on drinking buddies terms." Kate smirked, her eyes gleaming with mischief. "We're not, but misery loves company, doesn't it?" They sat in silence for a few moments, the tension between them thick enough to cut with a knife, and yet there was something oddly comforting about it. Neither needed to fill the space with idle chatter or pleasantries. Both had lived through enough betrayal, heartbreak, and loss to know that sometimes the quiet moments were the ones that said the most. "You ever feel like no matter what you do, this town always sees you the same way?" Xander asked, his voice low and reflective. Kate glanced at him, her eyes softening. Every day. That simple admission, shared between two people who had spent their lives being underestimated, misunderstood, and at times vilified, was the beginning of something neither of them had anticipated. Over the next few weeks, they found themselves crossing paths more often, sometimes by accident, sometimes by design. It wasn't long before their exchanges shifted from cautious small talk to genuine conversation. They'd meet for drinks at the pub, where Kate would give Xander unsolicited business advice, and he'd roll his eyes but secretly take it to heart. In return, Xander would tell Kate outrageous stories from his time in the underworld, and she'd laugh, a real laugh, the kind that rarely escaped her lips. What made their friendship so surprising wasn't just the stark contrast between their personalities, but the way they brought out the best in each other. Xander, with his roguish charm and tendency to bulldoze his way through life, found a grounding presence in Kate. She didn't try to change him, but she had a way of making him pause and think before acting, a skill he'd long neglected. And for Kate, who had spent so much of her life being the one to take care of everyone else, there was something refreshingly simple about her bond with Xander. He didn't need her to be Salem's power player, or the eternal protector of her children. He liked her just as she was, tough, flawed, and unapologetically herself. Of course, in true Days of Our Lives fashion, their friendship wasn't without its drama. There were moments when their old habits threatened to tear them apart. Xander's penchant for bad decisions and Kate's tendency to manipulate situations to her advantage didn't always sit well with each other, but every time they clashed, they somehow found their way back, their bond stronger for it. One particularly tense moment came when Xander found himself entangled in yet another shady deal, this time one that could have put Kate's business at risk. Furious, Kate confronted him in the square, her eyes blazing with anger. "You idiot," she hissed, grabbing him by the collar. "Do you even think before you act, or is that too much to ask?" Xander, for once, didn't have a snappy comeback. Instead, he looked at her with something close to regret. "I didn't mean to drag you into this, Kate." Her grip on his collar loosened and she sighed, releasing him. "I know, but I can't keep bailing you out, Xander." He nodded, his usual bravado gone. "I don't want you to. I'll fix it." And he did. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't pretty, but Xander found a way to untangle himself from the mess, proving to Kate, and to himself, that he could be more than just the town's troublemaker. In the end, that's what made their friendship so compelling. They weren't trying to save each other. They weren't even trying to change each other. They were simply two people who had found a rare understanding, a connection that transcended the chaos of their lives in Salem. The town might not have seen this friendship coming, but now that it's here, it's impossible to imagine Days of Our Lives without it. In a world where alliances shift with the wind and loyalties are as fragile as glass, Kate and Xander's friendship is a reminder that sometimes the most unexpected connections are the ones that matter most.